Co-Intelligence, Living and Working with AI by Ethan Mollick. Before we begin, understand this. This is not a book review. This is not a summary for passive consumption. This is an actionable book summary for execution, designed so you think, test, and apply. Built for educators, entrepreneurs, and leaders who refuse to become spectators in the age of AI. If you're here, you are not here to observe the future. You are here to shape it. Let's begin. Last year, a professor gave her students a take-home essay. By the next morning, every paper was flawless, perfect grammar, elegant structure, confident arguments. Too confident. She ran them through plagiarism detectors. Nothing. She asked students to explain their arguments in class. Silence. Something had changed. Not because students stopped thinking, but because thinking had been outsourced. Now, imagine a business leader reviewing a strategy document, or a marketing team generating campaign ideas, or a founder writing investor emails. What if the work looks excellent, but no one in the room truly understands it? If intelligence is now available on demand, what does it mean to be valuable? The book is called Co-Intelligence by Ethan Mollick. Its core thesis is simple and unsettling. AI is not a tool. It is a CO worker, and the future belongs to those who learn how to work with it. Mollick argues that large language models, like ChatGPT, represent an alien but powerful form of intelligence. Not conscious, not emotional, but capable of reasoning, writing, analyzing, coding, tutoring, and creating at a level that overlaps with many professional roles. This matters because we are not facing automation of tasks. We are facing collaboration with intelligence. And that changes leadership. That changes education. That changes identity. The question is no longer, will AI replace me? The question is, how do I become more valuable with AI than without it? Pause for a moment. If you simply watch this and nod, nothing changes. But if you test one idea from this video within 7 days, you shift from passive reader to active builder. Stay with me. The core principles of this book. Principle 1. Always invite AI to the table. Mollick's first rule is direct. Always invite AI to the table. Not because it is always right, but because it is often surprisingly capable. AI operates across what he calls the jagged frontier. Some tasks it performs brilliantly, others it fails at strangely. The boundary is uneven and constantly moving. The only way to understand its capability is to experiment. Human behavior resists this. We either ignore it, or we fear it, or we assume we already understand it. But leaders test. A marketing team spends 3 days brainstorming campaign slogans. One junior member quietly opens ChatGPT and asks for 50 variations in 30 seconds. Most are average. 5 are excellent. One sparks a breakthrough idea no one in the room had considered. The team didn't lose creativity. They gained raw material. Within the next 7 days, take one recurring task you do, lesson planning, email drafting, proposal writing, content outlining, and run it through AI first. Not to copy, but to compare. Ask, what did it see that I didn't? Then improve it. Invite it. Don't surrender to it. Principle 2. Be the human in the loop. Mollick's second rule. Be the human in the loop. AI hallucinates. It fabricates sources. It sounds confident when wrong. It does not know truth. It predicts patterns. This means human judgment becomes more important, not less. In education, if students submit AI-generated essays without understanding them, learning collapses. In business, if leaders approve AI-generated strategy without scrutiny, risk multiplies. The value shifts from producing first drafts to evaluating quality. A school bans AI completely. Another school redesigns assessment. Instead of write an essay at home, they require draft with AI. Annotate what the AI got wrong. Revise it. Defend your reasoning in class. In the second school, students don't just produce text. They develop judgment, For your next AI-generated output, do not accept it immediately. Ask it, where might this be wrong? What assumptions are you making? Challenge your own argument. Then manually verify one claim. Train your skepticism. Your edge is discernment. Principle 3, treat AI like a person, but tell it what kind of person. Mollick found something fascinating. AI responds better when given roles. Instead of saying, write a lesson plan, say, you are an experienced high school math teacher designing for struggling learners. Instead of, give me marketing ideas, say, you are a behavioral economist designing a low-budget, high-conversion campaign. Why? Because AI predicts text based on context. Role prompts provide context. This doesn't mean it is conscious. It means it performs better when framed. 2 founders use AI. Founder A, create a business plan. Founder B, act as a conservative venture capitalist reviewing my startup. Identify weaknesses in my revenue model. Founder B receives sharper, more actionable insight. Same model, different framing. Before your next AI prompt, write one sentence defining the role. You are a, act as a, then specify constraints. Budget, audience, tone, time frame. You will immediately see higher quality output. Principle 4, assume this is the worst AI you'll ever use. Mollick's final rule may be the most powerful. Assume this is the worst AI you will ever use, because it will improve. If today's version can tutor, brainstorm, code, analyze data, and generate lesson plans, what happens in 5 years? Leaders who treat AI as temporary will fall behind. Leaders who redesign systems around collaboration will compound advantage. Consider calculators. When calculators first appeared, some schools banned them. But eventually, the world didn't reward long division speed. It rewarded problem solving. AI is not a better calculator. It is a better intern. And interns get trained. Now, here's what you're going to do. Audit your workflow. List 5 tasks you perform weekly. Now mark automatable, enhanceable, human only. Start redesigning your role around higher order thinking. Move from task doer to value designer. Here is the framework section, rewritten as a smooth, story-driven flow script for narration. The framework, how to actually work with AI. Let's slow this down, because knowing AI exists is not the same as knowing how to work with it. Mollick describes 2 distinct modes of collaboration, not features, not tools, modes of thinking. Mode 1 is called Centaur mode. Imagine the mythological creature, half human, half horse, 2 beings, 1 body. But each part has a defined role. In Centaur mode, the human and the AI take separate responsibilities. You think, AI supports, or AI drafts. You critique. There is a clear boundary. For example, you outline your lecture, AI refines grammar and clarity, or AI generates 3 strategic options. You choose and redesign the strongest one. Division of labor, clear accountability. Centaur mode protects depth. It prevents you from outsourcing your core thinking. It is especially powerful when you are solving complex problems. You are making high-stakes decisions. You are teaching foundational concepts. You need clarity over speed. You remain the driver. AI is the assistant. Now, Mode 2, Cyborg mode. This is different. There is no clear separation. You write 1 paragraph. AI responds. You adjust. It expands. You challenge. It reframes. Back and forth. Rapid iteration. Shared construction. The boundary blurs. This is not assistant mode. This is co-creation. Cyborg mode shines when you are brainstorming, exploring new ideas, testing possibilities, generating volume before refinement. It accelerates creativity, but it requires awareness, because when you are intertwined with AI, it becomes easy to forget which ideas are yours and which are generated. That's where drift happens, and drift is dangerous. So here is the real insight. Centaur mode protects thinking. Cyborg mode expands thinking. Neither is superior. But unconscious switching creates confusion. If you are solving a strategic issue in cyborg mode, you may move too fast and miss critical judgment. If you are brainstorming in Centaur mode, you may move too slowly and limit possibility. The key is intentionality. Before you start working, pause and ask, what mode am I choosing right now? Am I protecting clarity, or am I exploring creativity? Choose the mode. Don't drift into it, because the professionals of the future will not just use AI, they will manage the relationship deliberately. And that is the difference between being assisted by intelligence and being led by it. Here's the common misunderstandings of this book. Misunderstanding 1. AI makes thinking unnecessary. Correction. AI makes shallow thinking obsolete. Deep thinking becomes premium. Misunderstanding 2. If students use AI, learning is over. Correction. Learning changes form. Memorization declines. Critical evaluation rises. Misunderstanding 3. AI will replace leaders. Correction. AI replaces leaders who fail to adapt. It amplifies those who design systems around it. Mollick does not argue for blind optimism. He warns about misuse, overtrust, complacency. But he is clear. Ignoring AI is not strategy. It is denial. Now, we are living through the homework apocalypse, the workplace shift, the intelligence expansion. But the core issue is not technological. It is identity. Are you a task completer or a value creator? AI can generate content. It cannot own responsibility. It cannot carry ethical judgment. It cannot define mission. That remains human. For the next 7 days, do not ask, how do I avoid AI? Ask, how do I become irreplaceable alongside it? Because co-intelligence is not about replacement. It is about redesign. If this shifted your thinking even slightly, don't let it end here. This channel exists to turn powerful books into execution blueprints. Subscribe, engage, but more importantly, apply. The top 1% are not those who read the most. They are those who execute the fastest. And in the age of AI, execution speed compounds. Now, move. Finally, I invite you to join in our 7-day execution challenge. First step, invite AI daily. Use AI at least once per day for a real work or teaching task. Second is human-in-the-loop audit. Fact-check at least one AI-generated claim per day. Next is role-based prompting. Use structured role prompts in every interaction. Then, workflow redesign. Identify one task to eliminate, one to enhance, one to elevate. Finally, teach someone. Explain one AI insight to a colleague or student. Now write your insights and reflections about these 2 questions. Question 1. If AI removed 50% of my current tasks, what higher value work would remain? Question 2. Where am I currently outsourcing thinking instead of strengthening it? Explain in your own words. What does it mean to treat AI as co-intelligence, and how does that change the way you work tomorrow morning? Final takeaway. The future does not belong to those who resist intelligence. It belongs to those who collaborate with it responsibly.